In what's being called one of the most humiliating celebrity brand flops of the year, Meghan Markle's much-hyped wine label has collapsed under the weight of poor reception, public mockery, and critical backlash from some of television's sharpest voices. Jon Stewart and Graham Norton. What was meant to be a sophisticated foray into luxury entrepreneurship turned into a PR disaster, laying bare what many now claim is Markle's relentless obsession with fame, control, and self-promotion rather than real substance or public interest. Markle's wine brand, launched with polished Instagram videos and carefully staged promotional events, was pitched as a California dream in a bottle, an extension of the lifestyle empire she's been quietly trying to build since her split from royal duties. But the product itself was met with lukewarm to negative reviews. Sommeliers described it as unremarkable, overpriced, and lacking character. A stark contrast to the bold, expressive branding Markle tried to cultivate. The launch was reportedly orchestrated without meaningful input from seasoned wine industry professionals. Instead, sources close to the venture say Meghan insisted on controlling everything from bottle design to the exact wording of every promotional sentence. The result? A brand that looked glossy on the surface but failed to connect with either wine enthusiasts or average consumers. The real blow came when comedians and talk show legends Jon Stewart and Graham Norton publicly mocked the launch on separate broadcasts. On The Daily Show, Stewart sarcastically referred to the wine as the perfect pairing for word salad and PR speak, referencing Markle's often criticized public statements that critics describe as vague and self-important. Meanwhile, on The Graham Norton Show, the British host couldn't hide his amusement. With his signature biting wit, Norton described the wine's launch video as the most self-serious thing I've seen since Prince Harry's audiobook, drawing laughter from the audience. Norton added, it's less of a drink and more of a branding exercise pretending to have heart. His guests, including a celebrity sommelier, chuckled and agreed. Both comedians' jabs went viral on social media, with thousands of users echoing their sentiments, sharing clips with captions like, "Even Jon Stewart can't pretend to take Meghan seriously anymore," and "When Graham Norton roasts your wine harder than the tannins." Within days of the launch, early sales figures reportedly tanked. Retailers quietly scaled back their orders, and the brand's online presence was flooded with negative reviews, calling it all image, no flavor. Wine blogs and lifestyle reviewers tore into the product's $30 to $45 price tag, stating that it offered little value beyond a celebrity name. Critics were quick to note that this failure wasn't just about the product, it was about Meghan Markle's approach. She positioned herself as a visionary entrepreneur, yet failed to show genuine understanding of the wine world. The brand lacked transparency about the vineyard sourcing, winemaker credentials, and even vintage year in some early press materials, basic elements wine buyers expect. This isn't the first time Meghan Markle has been accused of overestimating her influence and attempting to dominate industries she doesn't fully understand. From her Spotify podcast deal that was abruptly canceled to the underwhelming Netflix projects that failed to capture audiences, there's a growing narrative that Markle's ventures are heavy on branding but light on delivery. Her critics argue that she consistently places style over substance, often leveraging her royal connection while simultaneously rejecting the royal system that gave her global recognition. This double standard has become increasingly difficult for the public to ignore. A former brand executive who worked briefly with Archwell Productions told The Telegraph that Meghan has a tendency to overestimate her brand power and underestimate the importance of collaborative expertise. According to the source, she sees feedback as disloyalty. While Markle hasn't publicly addressed the backlash from Stewart and Norton, insiders suggest that she was deeply furious about the way the comedians framed her launch. A close associate claimed that Meghan believes there's a coordinated media effort to undermine her credibility, calling the criticism sexist and dismissive. However, many point out that other celebrity-led wine brands, like those by Cameron Diaz or John Legend, have succeeded without similar backlash, largely because they allowed the wine to speak for itself rather than wrapping it in grand personal narratives. In contrast, Meghan seemed to center every detail around herself, from the name to the stylized launch videos that critics called cringeworthy. This wine launch flop may be more than a temporary embarrassment, it could be a serious blow to Meghan Markle's long-term brand strategy. Public trust in her judgment has already been shaken by earlier failed ventures, and with this latest misstep, even former sympathizers are beginning to question whether she truly understands the audience she's courting. Even more troubling for her brand image is the growing perception that she is unable to take criticism or course-correct. While others might see public feedback as a chance to refine their product, Markle reportedly interprets it as a personal attack, further alienating industry professionals who might otherwise have been willing to help her succeed. Meghan Markle's wine launch was more than a product release. It was a statement of who she wants to be in the public eye. A powerful, independent, creative force. But what it revealed instead was a lack of humility, strategic missteps, and a growing credibility gap. With cultural icons like Jon Stewart and Norton tearing into the project and the public echoing their ridicule, this latest episode suggests that Markle's brand has reached a dangerous tipping point, where even her fame may no longer be enough to shield her from failure. In the aftermath of the failed wine launch, Meghan Markle faces a critical juncture. Industry insiders suggest potential investors are backing away, wary of her controlling reputation and repeated commercial misfires. With public trust waning and media scrutiny intensifying, even her most loyal supporters are beginning to question her judgment. Rather than pivoting or humbling her approach, Markle seems entrenched in a cycle of self-glorification, unwilling to adapt. If she continues to push image over authenticity, this wine debacle could mark a lasting downturn in her brand trajectory, one not easily repaired by PR gloss or royal nostalgia.